In April 1979, I picked up a copy of the Reader's Digest, and there I read, for $100 million, the World Health Organization had eradicated smallpox. So this caused me to start to think, perhaps for something like that sort of money, we could do something similar. So on arrival back, I telephoned Dr. John Sever. That was an inspired decision, because Dr. John Sever at that time was the head of the Infectious Diseases Division of the National Institutes of Health in Washington, D.C. I knew him, he was one of my district governors. I knew what his abilities were, and I knew we'd get the answer from him. So I phoned him up and I said, John, I told him what had happened. I said, John, is there anything we could do along similar lines to eradicate something, some disease? He said, leave it with me, I'll let you know. A few days later he phoned me up and he said, Clem, the answer is polio. Why polio? Because it was then crippling and maiming 1,000 kids a day. But it was preventable, and there was an vaccine, and it could be administered by people other than trained medical person. And we had 850,000 of them scattered around the world in 40,000 communities, every country of the world. So we didn't need medical people, we could do it ourselves. So that was the basis upon which we decided to embark upon the polio immunisation program. So this was May 1979. I was getting near the end of my term as president. So I spoke to John and I said, John, would you talk to the incoming president and his board and tell them what the possibilities are to eradicate polio, which he did. And the board at its September 1979 meeting passed a resolution, and the resolution was something like this: the eradication of polio and the alleviation of its consequences will be the primary focus of the Health, Hunger and Humanity program. We sent the General Secretary to talk to WHO about the possibility of joining with them in their immunisation program against the 6 communicable diseases. And they received us warmly, but with some reservation. They said, look, this is a huge project, and we just wonder whether you've got the tenacity and the organisation to see it through. But when we raised $247 million against their target of $120 million, I think they were convinced. One of the enduring benefits of the polio eradication program is that it demonstrated that governments can't do it on their own. We had the manpower, but which they didn't have. It also showed that NGOs such as Rotary cannot do it on their own. We didn't have the funds. It was the partnership between government and NGOs which made it possible. Rotary takes ordinary men and gives them extraordinary opportunities to do more with their lives than they'd ever dreamed possible. And that's applied to me, and it's applied to the thousands and thousands of people who've been active through the polio immunisation program. People who suddenly had a reason to be involved heavily, had a target. I'll always feel grateful too that 64 or 65 years ago, when a group of men came to this little town of Nambour where I lived and decided to form a Rotary club, they decided to invite me into the membership.